teaching with your head covered doctrine. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 3. All right, 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. So let's deal with it. This is somewhat controversial, right? 1 Corinthians 11 and 3.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3.
Start at 1.
Verse 1.
That's a word I want in there.
Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
All right.
Now I praise you, Salakia. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things.
That ye remember me in all things.
And keep the ordinances.
And what?
And keep the ordinances.
And keep the ordinances. Read.
As I delivered them to you.
So who delivered these ordinances to the Apostle Paul? Yahushua. Right? Get that in Galatians. He say, neither was I taught it but by the Mashiach Yahushua. So Yahushua gave certain men different instruction through the Spirit. Right? Through the Spirit of Yahushua, Noah received certain instructions. One and one. Right? Through the Spirit of Yahushua, Mordecai received certain instructions of putting Purim together. That wasn't Mordecai. I just feel like, no, that was the Spirit of Yahushua. So the Lord, through the Spirit, he shows different men different things. Right? And one man may not receive certain things that other men didn't get. Every man didn't get the understanding of how to put the ordinances of Purim together. Mordecai was given it. Every man that getting the ordinances of how to establish the Feast of Dedication as the Feast of Tabernacles. That was given to Simon and Judas. So just like these ordinances for the church, everybody wasn't given that. They don't have to be found in Jeremiah or Isaiah. This was given to the Apostle Paul at this time. So bring it out in Galatians.
Book of Galatians chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, an apostle, not of men.
So this is not of man. Everybody else was taught of man. Now, Paul was taught of Gamaliel, which was a Pharisee, and according to the law. But when it came to the gospel, he was directly taught by Yahushua. Literally taught by Yahushua himself. So anything he was pushing, it was of the Lord. Go on.
Neither by man.
Neither by man.
But by Yahushua HaMashiach.
But by what?
But by Yahushua HaMashiach.
Right?
And Yahweh, the Father.
And by the Most High, the Father. Go on.
Who raised him from the dead.
Right?
And all the brethren which are with me unto the churches of Galatia.
Now, go back to 1 Corinthians 11 and 2.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
Now, let's get the definition of an ordinance. Right? Here's the Greek word.
3862. Paradosis.
Paradosis, that's the Greek word for ordinance. Now it says, when you look it up, it says giving over, which is done by word of mouth or in writing, tradition by instruction, narrative or precept. You jump down of the body of precepts, ritual, which in the opinion of later Jews were orally delivered by Moses and orally transmitted an unbroken succession to subsequent generations, which precepts, both illustrating and expanding the written law as they did, were to be obeyed with equal reverence. So everything the Apostle Paul taught, it was supposed to be obeyed with equal reverence. Right? That's why Yahushua directly taught the Lord. Now, go back to verse 3, or read down, King.
Verse 3, 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh.
Now, what if your woman say, that's not in the law? You're not the head of me. Show me in Genesis. Then you're looking, okay, I went to Genesis 3:16, but it doesn't say you're my head, right? I want to see where it says you are my head. It don't say that in the law, right? That the Christ is the head and the most, it's not mentioned, right? So go on.
Salakia. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
So if I throw the hoodie on, right, and I'm going to be shaking the hand, then he put a fitted cap on, and then he put the scully on, and then we kind of doing this, and we good. That's wicked, man.
God.
You know, So you can't be teaching with your head covered.
That's right.
Right? You can't be prophesying with your head covered. That's plain. Now they don't say, well, hold on now, Quan, your head is covered. Well, real quick, you got precept? Yeah. So I got something real quick. Go to the Job 29:14. And they say, well, your head is covered. So what do you mean? Right? Let's go to Job 29 and 14. Wasn't Job perfect? Was Job an evil sinner? All right, so let's go to Job 29:14.
Book of Job, chapter 29 and verse 14. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem.
So Job compared his righteousness to a diadem and to a robe. That's what they wore back then. Right? So why he wouldn't be able to use that comparison if they didn't wear it? And it wouldn't be, why would he compare it if it's wicked to have a diadem on? Now a diadem, let's pull that up. In the Hebrew,
Strong's H, 6797. Sanif.
Now diadem, it says a turban.
Second entry.
Right? A turban. You brothers know what a turban is.
Sanuf.
Right? Let's.
Third entry.
All right now.
Sanuf.
Damn. Now, Sanuf. Right? We'll show you what a turban is. So Job had a turban on. A lot of Eastern nations wear turbans. We wear turbans, mitris. Job had a turban on. Right? And he said, my righteousness is a robe or a diadem. You know? Now, when you go to Job 29, we'll stay in that same chapter real quick. Go to Job chapter 29, the same chapter. And I want you to go to verse. Boy, man. 15, read on.
Book of Job, chapter 29 and verse 15. I was eyes to the blind, and feet was I to the lame.
How are you eyes to the blind? What do you do? Yeah, but what do you do to become eyes to the blind? You guide them according to what?
Lord.
The laws, the commandments. So you're teaching.
That's right.
So Job was teaching, and he had a diadem.
That's right.
You know, even your righteousness is compared to a diadem. That's what they wore back then. Job didn't have a damn scully on, and you roll up like in Baltimore with your ears showing. You know, so he had in an ancient word you would wear a diadem. I know brothers got precepts. So Job, as long as the crown of your head is a cover, you're perfectly fine.
God, let's go to 1 Peter 2:9, right? And that's a doctrine that a lot of people, these brothers are wicked because they got this on their head. But let's see what the Lord called us as a whole nation, right? And we're going to get into to show you what the priests actually wore, right?
Book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood.
So we are a royal priesthood, man. We're the priests of the Lord, right? If brothers have ears to hear, we present those spiritual sacrifices to the Lord, do the things he commanded us, right? Charity, right? We present those spiritual sacrifices, right?
And holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Right, so the priests are set apart unto the Lord, right? And the Lord provides for the priests, right? You got a system set up that the priests are abundantly taken care of, right? Everybody bringing X amount of their increase to the priest, right? So let's see what the priests actually wore. Let's go to Exodus 29 and verse 1, right? Because I want to move as a priest, so I want to do all the things that the priests have done, right? Or the righteous priests, I would say, right? Let's go to Exodus 29 and 1, then we're going to jump down to verse 5.
Book of Exodus chapter 29 and verse 1. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them,
Right, to separate them.
to minister unto me in the priest's office.
Right, so let's jump down to verse 4. So this is going into things that obtain into the office of being a priest, right?
Verse 4. And Aaron and his sons thou shalt bring unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shalt wash them with water.
Right? So on the spiritual level, we're being washed with the water, right? The word is cleansing us from the ways that we used to walk in, right? Getting all that filth, that dirt, that abomination up off of us, right?
And thou shalt take the garments and put upon Aaron the goat, Slakia, the coat, and the robe of the ephod, right? And the ephod and the breastplate, and gird him with the curious girdle of the ephod, right? And thou shalt put the mitri upon his head,
right? So we're gonna put the mitri upon our head. That's why brothers wear mitris, man. Because we're the priests, man. We're a nation of priests, right? So is it wicked that the priests did the service of the Lord with mitris on their head? No. Now let's see what else they did.
And put the holy crown upon the mitri.
So they doubled up. They put the holy mitri on, then they put the holy crown on, man. Right? Are they wicked for doing that? No, they're not wicked for doing that, because the Lord set it up that that's how they would do it. So us as being the priests of the Lord, a nation of priests, there's nothing wrong with us wearing mitris. There's nothing wrong with us following in the ways of our righteous forefathers. Right now, don't get a mitri that say something wild on it, right? A Versace mitri, because you try to be fancy, man. Get you something simple, something humble, man. Right? You don't got to stand out. Right? It was a video that we had a long time ago. Me and the brother Zephaniah. We had they was mitris from
Burberry.
The Burberry one. Right? We got it from the flea market. It looked like a Burberry one. It was fly. Right? He had brothers in different videos. Look, these brothers is wicked. Look at that Burberry scarf he got on. That Burberry mitri. What he said?
Y'all sold out.
Yeah, we sold out, man. Right?
Over Burberry.
Wearing Burberry, man. Those was $5 mitris, man. But you know, just because we're priests, right? We wear mitris.
You can go to Zechariah chapter 3 and verse number 5. So after this, we can go to the next one. Brothers broke that down for real, right? And I want to go into that word real fast, right? Mitri, in Zechariah chapter 3 and verse 5.
Book of Zechariah, chapter.
Page 6797. Sanif.
Sinif, meaning what? Turban.
Sanof.
All right, man.
Sanof.
Right, turban. Right? Bring it up, Ken.
Book of Zechariah, chapter 3 and verse 5. And I said, let them set a fair mitri upon his head. So they set a fair mitri upon his head, and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by.
That's plain, man. The angel of the Lord standing by you with a mitri on your head and garments being changed. So you want to have the ordinance after the priest, us being spiritual priests, man. So we got to come back to the Lord and put away these doctrines in the last days. Don't let men tell you otherwise, man, because the Lord always has the answers. Don't let man persuade you or brush you out of the way of understanding.
It's like it. And Moses wore a veil.
There you go.
Moses wore a veil after coming down from being with the Lord and ministered to the children of Israel. Where he had so much wisdom, his face was shining, man. Where so he put a veil on and still ministered to them. Does that make Moses wicked? Does that make Moses all for doing that? Like King David, when his sons were persecuting him, right, he put a mitri on his head. He didn't put a mitri.
He covered his head.
He covered his head and mourned. Right, does that make him wicked for doing that? Right, so you can't just take something and be like, well, our forefathers never did this. Look, 1 Corinthians 11. Nah, man. Precept upon precept, line upon line, you're going to get a perfect understanding.
Well, the Lord is going to put crowns on our head.
Right.
Right? We're going to be praising the Lord. We're going to be going off when the Lord put a crown on your head. As one of the elect will say, hold on, Lord. Hold on now. You know what it is. 1 Corinthians 11. You take that crown off of me. You leave that crown. I want my head come. I want to praise my head. No, man. You know, you're not gonna do that, man. You're gonna put that crown on your head, and then you're gonna remember this. You know, and it is what it is.
It's like the kings had to read the law continuous. They had to know the law in and out. You think the king took off his crown? No, man, that's a sign of being a king, man. If I was a king, I'm walking that crown all the time.
Right.
Except to go to sleep, probably.
Right.
Shoot, let's get it. We're gonna get it in.
Come. Next